Hello guys, my GameCube 2. Welcome to the final, I guess you could say, the final part of my E3 post-conference. It's the wrap-up. Well, E3 is come and gone. It was good. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about who won between the big three. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Basically, well, before we get into all that, Konami, Ubisoft, and I can't think of them. Oh, EA Games. I don't care about them that much, though. They all had their own press conferences. I didn't really care too much about that. I only cared about the big three. But I heard there's some good stuff coming out for, I think, all three of them, actually. So, be sure to check it out. I'm not going to cover them because I don't really know much about it. Yeah, I know. I didn't really care for them, though. But, yeah, be sure to, go around the internet. IGN, recommend it. Check out what they had to offer. I know Ubisoft is coming out with a new Rayman game. It's called Rayman Origins. Definitely check that one out. Okay. Let's start off with Microsoft. Let's go a rundown to them. It was boring, and it was funny, and it was just awful. Microsoft had probably the most single-handedly worst E3 I've seen ever since Nintendo's, I think, 2008 E3 conference. Yeah, it was the one that they showed off Wii Music at the end. That one was horrible. That was a horrible E3 for Nintendo. But I digress. Microsoft's was very boring. I struggled to follow them as they, did their press conference, and I just wasn't engaged in what they were doing because, okay, scratch that. I was engaged at first. They showed off Halo Reach. They showed off Gears of War 3. Stuff like that. Now that's the stuff that we're all talking about here. They got off to a good note, and then the rest of the hour was spent towards Kinect and bad acting. Very bad acting. I mean, in between the tiger named Skittles and that little girl and the two girls talking about their gamer score, it doesn't make any sense to me. What kind of acting was that? Microsoft's conference was just horrible. All they talked about was Kinect, and even then they showed off a few games that was just above average. Cares? Probably not even above average. It was probably below average. I mean, it's casual games. I understand casuals might get into it, but who's going to pay $150 for another add-on for a 360, which is already $300 itself, when you could just buy the Wii for $200 and just leave it at that? It doesn't make much sense to me. And you still have to get the games. Nobody has that kind of money right now. So Microsoft was a big bummer. Nothing extraordinary. The only thing that I liked was the Gears of War 3 demo. When they showed off, the new aspects of it or whatever. It was cool. Gears of War 3. That's Microsoft's. Now, I already gave the score, but I'm not really going to give any scores this time. I'm just giving you guys a rundown of what I think, my whole opinion. Let's go ahead and go with Nintendo, the next one. Now, of course, we all know Nintendo just dominated every aspect of E3. They came with the games. They came with Kirby, Donkey Kong, the 3DS, and all the games and third-party support that has to offer. It was just amazing. That Nintendo's conference just has me hyped up for the rest of this year, 2011, and possibly 2012. Nintendo really, really gave the hardcore fans what they wanted, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. They just came out, and as soon as they came out, they started with Zelda. I mean, everybody was waiting for that one. We all know it was going to happen. They came out with that. The demo sucked, but Nintendo has their ways around things. They backed it up and said, you know what, you're going to try out the demo for yourself, see how it works. Everyone loves it. So it was probably just a technical problem. It's obviously still in the early stages of development. It has to be, because those graphics, the character models are great, but the graphics for Zelda is awful. It's just god awful. The environment, looks like Paper Mario or something. The environment looks like it should come from an N64 or something. They need to do something about the graphics. I'm praying it's just the early stages of development. They gotta fix something though. Moving on, I digress. They showed off the casual-ish Wii Party, Just Dance 2. That's there for them. But then they went back to the, Mario Sports, which is borderline casual hardcore. And then they just went to Kirby, Donkey Kong, a trailer for Other M, GoldenEye 007. I failed to mention that last time. All of this excellent stuff that they're coming out with for the hardcore. It's like Sony and Microsoft took the casual route this E3, and then Nintendo flipped the 180 on casual and just said, okay, all the gamers out there who's been with us for years, here you go. And that is basically how Nintendo won E3. Let me move on to Sony. Sony's was just plain boring. They showed off a couple good games, Twisted Metal, the Sly Collection, I guess Heroes on the Move, but that doesn't look too good. They showed off a few stuff here and there. It was okay. It was pretty boring. Nothing really engaged me. I was literally going to fall asleep at one point. Kevin Butler, that was pretty much the highlight. And then they just showed, I think they showed, they showed so many montages. It was like, you just got done talking about these games. You just got done talking about Killzone 3 and the Sly Collection and the Move. We don't need all these montages, man. That's what Nintendo did last year and the year before. All these montages and stuff. Microsoft was pretty much the winner of E3 the past couple years. And this E3, they just sucked horribly. Sony just keeps throwing out montages. I'm like, where's the games? And then there's another thing. Sony, all the things they said, or all the things they announced before E3 was shown at E3. So it's like, why couldn't you just save those games that you had announced for E3? It would have made a bigger bang, people would have been surprised at Little Big Planet 2. People would have been surprised at, any other thing. I mean, come on. Portal 2 was pretty much the only big surprise, I think. I don't know. Sony's E3 was just boring. And nothing really surprising. Twisted Metal, and even Twisted Metal wasn't even that surprising because it was rumors going around, so people kind of saw it coming. Whatever. So that's E3. All three of them. Like I said, Ubisoft, Konami, and EA Games, they all had their own press conferences. Go check them out. I didn't really care. My whole verdict of E3 is that Nintendo won. Why? Because Sony and Microsoft kind of fell into their trap. Nintendo was coming out for the whole generation of this gaming generation. Nintendo's been doing casual. Us Nintendo fans are like, seriously, Nintendo, there was Mario, Metroid, and Zelda. We had a little bit of them. But where's Donkey Kong? Where's Kirby? Where's Star Fox? Where's other second-party support like Fire Emblem, Paper Mario? Where's all that stuff at? Well, they showed it to us now, so, here they are. What does Sony and Microsoft do? Nintendo has been doing great these past couple of years because of the casualness. Let's casualize our games. That's exactly what us gamers don't want. And so Sony and Microsoft goes that route, and Nintendo goes back to the hardcore audience, and you do the math. I mean, it's like Nintendo knew that Sony and Microsoft would take their bait and just go casual, do more casual things, albeit Microsoft a little bit more than Sony. That's basically what happened. They fell into Nintendo's trap, and now Nintendo flipped their 180. And now it looks like everybody wants a little piece of the 3DS right now. When the 3DS launches, it's going to be a little crowded at those gaming stores and electronic stores. It's going to be a little packed because everybody wants one. And it's not even out yet. We don't even know all the details about it, and everybody already wants one simply because of one thing, the games. Post your comments, post whatever you thought about E3. This is my GameCube 2 wrapping up E3 saying goodbye, everybody.